That would have been 2008 that my mom died. Complications due to dementia. They didn't call it Alzheimer's, they call it dementia.
Maybe I could look at it less emotionally. I mean, she was not my mom, but as close to another mom as I ever had, but maybe because she was more my friend than she was my mom, I could look at it and say, you know what, I'm looking at it from her viewpoint. I looked at it like she was still in that tortured body, and they made her stay there, and it killed me. It did.
My dad was always such a voice of reason, and sort of, he had such a great grounded personality that I could always count on him. If I was in a bad place, I could always count on him. My sister was going to pick him up to take him to the airport, and the maids found him he had collapsed in the bathroom during the night sometime.
Do you know why she is mad at you?
I'm not sure. Nope, I'm not sure.
There's a number of reasons that families have conflict around end-of-life issues. One reason is that families have conflicts already. It often takes a bit of courage and strength to say, no, this is what I think is best, and even more so, this is what he or she wanted. And yet, still, people can disagree and fight about those things. And sometimes the worst accusations are for those who disagree with the decision, saying, well, you know, you killed Dad.
Honoring Choices Family Frictions is a co-production of the Twin Cities Medical Society, providing physician leadership for the health of our communities, and TPT's Minnesota Channel. Funding has been provided by these foundations and companies.
Within 4 short years, Rick and Chris Levine lost 3 of their parents.
It was a funny process. So Rick's mom, the dementia started, and then we thought, okay, she's going to pass away. And then that was in the spring. The following spring, midwinter, we came back from a vacation to find out my mother was full of cancer. She went 6 months, 5 months, and she was gone. And then your mom died. Mm-hmm. And then 2 years later, a year and a half later, your dad died. So it was like this domino effect of we never got a break from one to the other or the other. It was right. Just, okay, who's next? Okay, who's next?
Though each death was hard, it was Rick's mom's passing that caused considerable pain throughout their family.
She walked and she played cards and golfed and was a very active person.
She would say, I can sleep when I'm dead, let's go. She was a doer. Boy, she had more energy than anybody.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, we actually thought she would be the one to live longer and outlive Dad.
I think this is the only picture that was ever taken when she was sick. We used to go to Hawaii with Rick's mom and dad every year. Every year. And all the pictures of the dinners and the beach stuff, and God, we did a lot with them. I forgot.
When Rick was a little boy, his biological mother died in a tragic accident. Within a few years, his dad, Ed, married Betty Ann, or Betts.
She's the only mom I ever really knew because she came into our lives when I was 6.
She brought her son, Ted, into the family.
Do you consider Ted your brother?
I do. I never ever called him, only for the sake of what we're doing here, did I call him a stepbrother for clarity. I never called him a stepbrother. I always called him a brother.
Around that time, Chris's family got woven into the tapestry of the Levines' lives.
When when his first mom died, my dad was the mortician that took care of her. At the funeral, it was Rick's dad and, you know, these 5 little kids. And I remember him coming home and saying the story about this man and these 5 little kids, you know, at this funeral. And then we ended up, it was my uncle who's a mortician that introduced us. So it's all very twisted.
We met in 1979.
Long time ago.
33 years later.
A long time ago.
Yeah, we've known each other a long time.
Betts and Ed raised their kids, launched them into adulthood, became grandparents, and were enjoying their retirement. They were in their late 70s when their lives shifted.
She fell into Alzheimer's really rapidly.
Every day, she'd forget you couldn't put metal in the microwave. The next day, she'd wander outside in the middle of the night. The next day, she started the curtains on fire. It was like boom, boom, and they were still in the same house they'd always been in. Rick's dad was never a healthy man. He smoked, and he couldn't take care of her. And you know, so luckily they live 2 blocks from here. So I would go over there during the day, and I'd say, "Now, Bets, just sit down. I'll be right back." And I'd come back, and she was gone. And it just every day there was some new development, and so we took her back in, and they said, "Yeah, here's what else is going on." She had Lewy body's dementia too, so she went from being fine 1 minute to 2 weeks later, she was totally out of it, in a wheelchair, couldn't function. I mean, it went that fast.
We had to put her in a lockdown facility because she was a flight risk at the time. There was several times, well, it was over 3 years that she lived, and there were several times along that time period when we thought, this is it, and we're all going in there and saying our goodbyes to somebody that really doesn't register any sort of, hardly even audible clues, probably sooner than later.
While Rick and Chris were dealing with his mom's long-term illness, Stephanie Arado had the opposite experience, a quick and debilitating blow to her father Al's health. Stephanie is a violinist with the Minnesota Orchestra.
I would guess that probably one of his favorite pieces was the Mendelssohn Violin Concerto, because I played that when I was 12. He had such a great, grounded personality that I could always count on him. If I was in a bad place, I could always count on him. I miss that, and I feel like if I just think about him and remember some of his ways, you know, it's there.
While growing up in the Chicago area, all 3 of the Arado kids played violin. Stephanie and her sister both now play professionally.
We played a lot of summers in a quartet, and we'd go to music camps, festivals, whatever, and we'd study, and we went to Aspen as a quartet. We did a lot of great things together.
In 2000, they lost their mother, Marilyn, to cancer.
I feel like I've seen like 2 very different ways of dying. She was always able to make the decisions where she wanted to be and what she wanted to do, and so that was, you know, different. It was really different.
The family often vacation in Aspen, home to the renowned Aspen Music Festival. After Marilyn died, Al kept up the tradition. As the eldest of 3 kids, Stephanie had a deep connection with her dad.
I kind of had this feeling, actually, that I wanted to be around my dad as much as I could. I was just feeling like that it was important. And so I had seen him in June. He'd help me with the kids at a Suzuki camp in Michigan. And then I said, I'm going to come out and I'm going to see you again in July. I'm going to come out to Aspen. So it was kind of last minute.
The summer of 2011 proved to be a life-altering one.
My sister ended up getting a job at the festival, so she goes there every summer. My brother ended up there, so it was kind of a big family reunion in Aspen. We flew out to Denver, and so we spent about 4 days with him, and the boys actually stayed with him in his hotel room a couple nights so that my partner and I could go camping. And so then it was time to go. We went home 3 days later, he was to be leaving the next morning. My sister was going to pick him up to take him to the airport. And the maids found him he had collapsed in the bathroom during the night sometime. And he was still alive. They rushed him to the hospital, and he was, again, still alive. And I got a phone call. I was on my way to a gig in Winona with the orchestra, and I was halfway there. And it was my sister's husband that called, and he said, "It's Espen, your dad has had a stroke. It's a massive stroke. He's had a massive stroke." So I turned around, couldn't get out. It was strange. I couldn't find a flight by the time I got back to Minneapolis, so I had to wait till really early the next morning. My sister was there with her kids. My brother was there with his kids, and I went straight from the airport, I remember, and I found him in ICU, and I said, "Dad, hi, Dad." And he looked at me, and he said, and I said, "You're gonna be okay, you're gonna be okay, Dad, But it is pretty shocking because, it was clear that it was very, very tenuous place he was in.
Many years before her dementia set in, Betts made a healthcare directive.
She was very clear in what she wanted. This was a big issue later on. She was very clear in what she wanted. She didn't want to be kept around in extraordinary means. She didn't want to hang on.
Since Al had been healthy all his life, he took a different approach, not knowing the adverse impact it would have.
His healthcare directive would be just anecdotal times when he would say to me, "Honey, I've told you this before. If anything were to happen to me, I don't want any heroics. I've seen these poor bastards. I don't want to, that are vegetables who live out their lives in, nursing." He said, "I don't want any of that. You just let me go." I said, "I hear you, Dad. I hear you." That was his healthcare directive. I don't know that he said that to my brother or my sister in the same way. I don't know.
For the three Arado kids, that became the crux of the argument over their dad's care. Rob Ruff is the head of chaplaincy at Regions Hospital in St. Paul. In his 8 years there, he has seen his share of family conflict.
Next place.
There's a number of reasons that families have conflict around end-of-life issues. One reason is that families have conflicts already, ranging from the families who don't like each other so much that they can't be in the same room with one another, to the families who like each other, get along well, but have the usual cracks and sore spots and issues in the family that can get exacerbated when they're dealing with things as stressful as end-of-life matters can be. Another common reason for conflict within families when they're dealing with end-of-life matters is a lack of complete clarity about what the patient, their loved one, would want. And that ranges from patients who never wanted to talk about these matters, so the family have no idea what they would want at end of life, and then they can easily bicker amongst themselves in trying to sort that out, to families who have a pretty good sense of what their loved one would want, but then come to disagree about the details of how they might actually implement their loved one's wishes in an actual medical care plan.
At one point in the process, she got a fever. She was in a nursing home, she got the fever. The nursing home called and said, hey, she has a very bad fever and, we want to know what to do. And they said, in all likelihood, the fever would kill her. Nobody was around, they couldn't find anybody. They called me, I was at a ball game. They said, because I was the second phone number after Rick's dad from the nursing home. They couldn't find your dad. They said, here's what's going on. I went over there and I sat with her all night long, and she was so much at peace, and I thought, it's finally over for this. It's because she was so agitated, and you can see, I think, you can see when somebody's starting to leave, and she was. And I thought, isn't this wonderful? It's finally over for her. Then the next morning we had the big meeting and Rick was out of town. I go to the family meeting. Now at this point I'd been in the family for 30 years. And we sit down and they say, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to give her the antibiotics? And her healthcare directive very clearly said, don't do this. And her son, her one biological son, said, no, I want her to get antibiotics. I want her to get better. You know, and his dad said the same thing, and I said, hey, she did not want that. She very specifically did not want that. And I was told, you're not part of the family.
The relationship that we had, we were very unified, I thought, in...
I did call you the next day spitting tack.
Well,
they gave her the antibiotics.
We always communicated well between each other because we wanted to remain on the same front. As painful as her message to me might be, she cared for her as good or better than we did, objectively and subjectively. So we might not have always enjoyed what she had to say, yet the truth hurts.
So I was that voice that maybe sometimes people didn't want to hear, but trying to help her. I looked at it like she was still in that tortured body, and they made her stay there, and it killed me. It did.
He was never able to eat from the stroke forward. That was one of the decisions that had to be made. We had to decide he needed to have a G-tube. He would fight to pull before he got a G-tube, they get these nose feeders. I forget the name of those, but and they'd have to shove, and the first few days he was so strong that they had to put like a Velcro restraining thing because he would rip everything out, but his right side was nothing. I felt like in the first 3 or 4 days after the stroke, I could still sort of see him. I felt like he still was sort of able to connect, and he would say to me, and we were all there, let me go. And I said, Dad, it's not, and I'd say, Dad, it's not quite that simple. We're trying to do the best for you. And by that time, since he didn't have a health directive, the doctors and nurses were all on top of that. They said, we have to do what we have to do. And we were starting to argue about what it was that we wanted for my dad. And once they picked up on that, it was kind of out of our hands. The only thing that we could have possibly worked together at that point was the DNR thing right away, but we weren't going to be able to do that because my sister, she got really angry, and then the feeding tube issue came up, and I said, do we need to do this? And she said, what are you crazy? I'm not going to listen to this. You're going to just let him die? We're going to just let him starve to death? And I said, well, it might be the best thing. I don't think he would want this. And so that began, and then it was just, we just got further and further apart. And there was just so much pain around it. And, my brother was caught in between. The thing that I struggled with the most, that just tore me apart, was I felt like I was letting my dad down. And I cried and I cried and I cried, and because he had just spoken to me in June, and when I spoke with my siblings, they couldn't hear it. They said, well, he might have said that to you, but he didn't say that to me. I'm like, all right, okay. And so then I would just be trapped, and it was like my heart was breaking because I just would see him laying there, and I'd say, Dad, I'm doing the best I can.
It often takes a bit of courage and strength to say, no, this is what I think is best, and even more so, this is what he or she wanted. And yet, still, people can disagree and fight about those things. And sometimes the worst accusations are for those who disagree with the decision, saying, well, you killed Dad. Sometimes people perceive that they're making decisions that have to do with whether their loved one lives or dies. And I think that it's hard to perceive that we don't have that much control over life and death, that we're making care decisions. We're making decisions about what Mom or Dad would want at this stage of their journey, given their medical conditions, for their medical care. It feels like they're making life and death decisions, but in truth, it really isn't. And I think if people can perceive that, if they can remember that they're just carrying out their loved one's wishes as best they know them, I think that helps.
Unfortunately for all involved, these kind of disagreements can have long-lasting impact.
Do you guys still speak with Ted? Are you in contact?
We'd never see him. If we didn't reach out to him, we'd never hear from him.
I haven't seen him since your dad's funeral.
Well, I have one brother that reaches out to him and, in my opinion, goes through all the effort of staying in touch. I might see him or talk to him a couple times, 3 times a year maybe.
I think my sister and I we're still in process.
Have you talked to her?
No, not since like in the spring.
Do you know why she is mad at you?
I'm not sure. Nope, I'm not sure. I'm just waiting. I'm hoping and waiting and hoping that with some time we can, I don't know, I can't be sure, but you know, obviously I love her and she's my sister and I know her very well, and we'll just wait for some of the pain and to clear, hopefully.
We've learned a lot through all of this. I think we've learned a lot. Biggest thing, ask for help. There are places to get help. There are, and I'm the worst one. I'm going to do this all myself. This is our responsibility. His parents, my parents, it's our responsibility. Worst, I'm supposed to do all this. And he says to me, just ask for help. And it doesn't show weakness to ask for help.
During the process, there's a lot of emotion, uncertainty, lack of knowledge. If you're open and honest with your siblings, come what may, then you can always live with yourself afterwards. That's my absolute best advice. And it may get your nose broken. It might get kicked in the shin. I don't mind running that risk such that you can live with yourself after the person passes, and you know that you're honest with yourself. I think that personally, that guilt and not speaking your mind and not being honest, like Chris is so good at, is a mistake. And you have to live with yourself after the parent's gone. And when you look in the mirror, I hope that you see a good reflection.
If I knew what I know now, then I would probably say, hey, you know what, Dad? I hear you, and I think, I totally appreciate that that's what you want, and I would like you to have what you want. So what do you say? Can we write it down? Can we go somewhere and make it so that it's going to be that in case we get into a situation where it would be an issue, it'll be there? I would have said that. But, I didn't know. I didn't, he can't predict what's going to happen. And he told me, and that's all he felt he needed to do.
I guess I'm enough of an optimist to think that even though we may see people at their worst, that they may someday come to mending some of those fences and repairing some of those wounds and coming back together again. I guess we hope that happens.
When Stephanie's father passed in 2011, one of his favorite pieces was played at his funeral.
He liked Meditation from Thais by Massenet, which is pretty familiar piece to most people. It's a beautiful piece.
After 4 months of painful conflict with her sister and brother over their father's care, it was a relief to be able to let him go.
I had tears running down my face, but they were tears of just, in a way, he was like rising up. He was where he needed to be. So it was a lot of emotion, but it wasn't that sort of wrenching, the kind I felt when I felt like he was trapped somewhere he shouldn't be. That was wrenching. This was just, oh, my dad.
Honoring Choices Family Frictions is a co-production of the Twin Cities Medical Society, providing physician leadership for the health of our communities, and TPT's Minnesota channel. Funding has been provided by these foundations and companies.